Whatever happened to make a fool out of me? I was lost in the idea of it all. Too many years of you suffering here, burning down right now. And I don't know where I run to, but it could be oblivion. I dream I was making love to a whole new life. Learn my lesson once, I'll skip the reminder of what's left for me. If I turn around, you let me die.
Welcome back to the channel, guys, with a walk around on my 2024 Triumph Bonneville Bobber. When I complete a project bike, just like I did with my previous bikes, I always finish it with a walk around, going over the parts that I installed, including links in the description, price, what it cost, and also why did I choose the parts that I chose. Just like I do on every video, I always bring a list of the parts with me because there's no way I'm going to remember every single part. So let's start. Starting with the exhaust from Motone. This is the H-Bomb, and it is coated in black color. And what I like about this exhaust is that it also comes with dB killers if you ever need to go a little quieter. Let me show you from the other side. And of course, I went with this because I wanted to go with a blacked out look. And it sounds amazing. My only complaint is that I'm not sure why. I went over it in the install video that I did. It started chipping over here, and I'm not happy about it. I reached out to Motone, and they never responded back. It's been like 2 weeks, and I got no response back. So I'm thinking maybe sending back an email and asking what the status is, if they have any answer about this. But either way, it sounds amazing. It looks amazing. I may just have to paint it right there on my own and call it a day. With the exhaust, I had to, of course, do an air filter. Here on the other side, I went with a DNA air filter, and of course BT Moto tune to complement the entire performance of the free floating exhaust, no catalytic converter, and higher flow air filters. And I can tell you the bike feels amazing, no comparison. I will do a video review on performance alone, what the bike feels like riding it with the BT Moto tune, with the exhaust and the air filter. And since I was going for a blacked out look, I also changed the exhaust clamps with Motone Stealth clamps over here, the mats, the finish of the exhaust. I was thinking maybe changing these to brass. We'll see maybe later on the second row of installs. And of course I did change the gaskets inside since I did a new exhaust. Now let's go to brakes. Of course I did the Galfer front and rear brakes. It's the common selection when it comes to these bobbers. This is basically what everyone's using, and it does make a huge difference to the bike visually, of course. Now when it comes to braking, I can't really tell much. I don't feel a difference. Here's the rear. They look cool, they look amazing. I didn't do it for performance, to be honest, and if anything, I don't think there's much you can do to braking performance when it comes to this bike unless you actually change the calipers and the master cylinder and the whole thing, which I'm really not planning to do. This is a chill bike for me. I'm not planning on racing it like the other ones. So this concludes the brakes. Let's go to the back. The back for me, of course, was the most important thing for me, at least, was to remove the fender. I mean, a proper bobber, I mean, that's what a bobber is, and no fender, basically. I had to remove the stock fender, but when you do that, what happens is you lose your turn signals, you lose your taillight, and you lose your license plate bracket, technically. So we had to do some parts installation for this, starting with these turn signals and the brackets. These are a Motone Ajax rear indicator, turn signal and brake light brackets right here. These are metal. I thought they were plastic when I saw them online, but I was happy to see that they're metal. And of course, with the Motone Pico multi-LED. These are 3-in-1. Turn signals, tail light, the whole thing. Brake light, the whole thing. They look great. They're tiny. They're pretty robust. Nothing happens to it. I can't even see them honestly here, you know. And they're really super bright, and it cleans up the tail. And of course, for you to be able to install these, you will need it comes with a Motone rear wiring loom. It's like a plug and play. I went over it in the video. You can see it all the way how to do the install. You need that to be able to connect it to your OEM connector. And for a license plate bracket, I have to tell you, I cannot find anything on the market that I liked. And I'm talking about up to $600 brackets, and I didn't like them. Why? I wanted something that's very tucked. I wanted something that's very tucked over here behind the wheel. I wanted it to be curved. I didn't want it to be flat. And I'm telling you, there was nothing on the market that I liked. Anything starting from $100 to $600, zero, nothing. So what I did is I went on Amazon. I found a $25 bracket, metal bracket. And what I did is I had to custom fit it. Basically, it did not fit through here because it was too wide. So I had to, with an angle grinder, cut it down. Again, if you don't have the tools and if you don't have the skills required to do this, I wouldn't recommend it, but it is a perfect solution for me because it is the most tucked license plate bracket I could have for less than $30. So super happy with my decision for this. And since I was blacking everything out, I also went with a blacked out chain adjuster block over here, and from the other side too, right here, because the OEM are silver and I didn't like that. And I also changed the actual nut here to black. Of course, trying to torque it down, I scraped it down here. It's a little silver, but it doesn't really matter because overall from far away it looks perfect or blacked out. I also installed this chain guard here from Brogue. I'll include a link for this. Pretty good price for it. I didn't want to leave it with no chain guard, so good option there. Swing arm spools. These are Wonderkind. That's what they call it, at least, Wonderkind. Just generic, whatever. Just whatever was available at the time. There's just spools. You can choose whatever you want to choose. And also from Motone, which I didn't mention before, this pillbox light for the license plate that is substituted screw to hold the license plate down and functions as a light. And I did some good cable management right here going all the way in, and I tucked everything in the back. Still in the rear from this side, the gold and black chain from EK 3D, still 525. I was between either a full gold or this, and I thought a full gold will be too much, so I figure I'm gonna do this, which is blacked out on the sides and gold from the inside. That way it gives a good balance. So I went with a blacked out bike completely. Now with it, of course, just to complete the look, I went with driven aluminum sprocket nuts right here, just to make them black also, and left that as is. I did not change the sprocket only because what I was doing was basically for looks. And when it comes to looks, this sprocket, it's basically, you can't even tell a difference if you do a different sprocket. It looks the same, unless you do a color, like a gold sprocket or something like that, which I didn't really want to do. It really doesn't make any difference. And this sprocket was brand new, had like 600 miles on it. So everything was brand new on this bike anyway. So it was, it didn't make any sense for me to change it. Okay, this made a huge difference visually. The Motone leather seat with the stitching. This really transformed how the bike looks. For some reason, it makes it look more expensive, more custom compared to the original seat. Here in the back, it removes that silver that the stock seat has, and I didn't like. It's very vintage, I would say, how it looks. And it also has two screw holes right here. I really wanted to install something here like a Triumph logo or something. I'll see what is meant to be screwed over here, and I'll see what I can add for a final touch on how the bike looks. The seat does make a huge difference. One of those parts that I would definitely put in my priority if I had to choose top 5. Okay, moving towards the center of the bike, aesthetically speaking, again, I went with these cylinder stud knuckle caps over here and here, these two, only to cover those bolts. Small difference, not something that you really pay attention to, but I think it really plays a difference. The small things are what matters when you try to make something custom. With it, I had to replace these throttle body intake covers from Motone, the Zephyr, that's what these are called. Really make a difference also. This is a huge silver part that feels exposed if you don't change these. And next to it, of course, I also did the Triumph TPS throttle body covers right here, which I'm also thinking of changing these screws to brass just to match this color over there. If you notice what I've done here, because I don't really want to paint the entire throttle body, I experimented a little bit with some grip tape over here just to cover a little bit of that silver, and maybe I'm gonna do it here too. I really like how this looks. It matches the color, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do the same thing on all the silver sides, like here. You can see it, yep. It just covers as much as silver as possible, which I didn't like over here. And since we're on this side, from Brogue, clutch and ACG cover set, you'll see it right here. Give it a little more better touch compared to stock. It makes it all blacked out because there we have the silver-ish Triumph logos, and from this side too. Definitely makes a difference. Also from Brogue, I did the horn relocator bracket in there. I don't know if you can see it in there. Basically, the bracket brings the horn in the middle, in between the engine and the fan back there, which originally was right here, and you could see it exposed just in front of the exhaust. It wasn't a good look, at least having it exposed right there. So in there, much better, just in front of the radiator. Moving up to the tank, the emblem from Classic Bike Rish right here. I removed the silver emblems, the Triumph ones, and I also like the font from this one. And this is one of my favorite parts. This is also from Brogue. This is the gas cap, and it was the only one that I could find that it retains the key, so you cannot unlock it, you cannot remove it. That way no one can open and steal it and do anything. And you can also open it here and you still have the key. Now it reuses your OEM cap underneath. You just have to remove it with some clamps, and you install this. You only order this part above it and it's shipped as is. Install it and it makes such a huge difference on the looks. Before this was silver, again, really ugly. It just didn't match. And to finish up with the middle of the bike, I went with this Motone leather strap. Again, just to give it a little bit of a touch. It doesn't make any difference. I mean, it does have an Allen key here that you can screw it tighten, but if you know bobbers, you know that this really doesn't tighten. You can just pull it and open it, but it's more for aesthetics. It just gives that vintage look with the black leather and the brass. It just completes the look. Now going to the front and the top, the details matter even though they're small. This clutch adjuster, titanium, I went with black only because the OEM was silver and I just wanted to, again, match the whole look. And again, Classic Bike Rish milled brake reservoir cap right here. Love this, how it looks in the front of the bike compared to what the OEM looks. It just makes it look more expensive, you know, more premium, these small details. And right here in the front, if you notice already, also from Classic Bike Race billet, fork, tube caps right here, you can see them. And I love the logo, how it looks. Now these were a little bit involved to install because not only do you have to remove the entire top triple, you also have to loosen the lower triple because when you install them, you have to align the logo, and guess what? To align the logo, you have to twist the fork until it's aligned. It requires a little more work, but at the end, it was really worth it. With it, of course, here, the top yoke steering stem, also blacked out underneath because the OEM was also silver and ugly. Now you can't even see that it's there. This is perfect, completes the look. Probably one of the most important when it comes to looks are these shrouds over here, blacked out with brackets integrated already for the front turn signals. Also, these are metal, very robust. And I did the same Motone Pico LED front turn signals right here. Cable them all the way around, and they all go from the left side of the bike underneath the tank. You have to remove the tank completely to be able to wire these. Also a little bit of work, but you essentially have to dismantle the whole bike to install these parts. But the good thing with the bobber is it's such an easy bike to work on compared to these which have a million fairings on it. This is super simple. Also, these Motone front turn signals require their own Motone adapter, wiring adapter, to be able to connect to your OEM connector. Super easy to do. I will include everything in links if you want to do the same, what you will need to purchase to complete these installations. And I believe this is the last one. The front axle covers from Wonderkind right here. Again, no specific reason. I mean, they do serve our sliders if you do go down, protecting the forks, but I mostly did it for looks because it covers that bolt from the front axle, gives it a little bit of width, completes the look with all the black parts from here, and it's just another small touch, you know. Why not? At that point, you already purchased all those parts. You know, what else is left? Well, what's left is this front fender, also from Motone, a short one. It does make a big difference from the OEM one because the OEM was so long that when I removed the rear, it just didn't match the front. Something had to go. So the short one does make a difference from Motone. And that completes the look of the bike. Now I want to hear your thoughts on this build because I myself was a little bit surprised because for some reason I had it in mind that this is not going to end up being an expensive bike. I kind of wanted to have it as a daily, and I thought, you know, I wanted to be under 20K to be able to daily it and not worry as much as all the bikes being 40,000 plus each. So this is ending up being a lot more than 20. I mean, if you consider it's around 16K, I believe, or so. I don't remember what that was out the door for brand new. Plus, around $6,000 I spent for all these parts. I'm kind of feeling that I cannot see the money. I cannot see the $6,000. Am I alone, or do you also feel the same way? So if that's the case, would you spend all that to modify it like I did, or will you only choose a few of these parts, and which ones would that be? If you had to choose top 5, for instance, what would that be? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, because every time I look at it, I see the seat and I say, absolutely the seat will be one of those. There's no way I would not change the seat. But then I look at the shrouds and I said, you know what, I definitely need to do the shrouds. There's no question about that. But I definitely need to do the fender, but I definitely need to do the exhaust. And if you do the exhaust, you definitely need a tune. I did the BT motor tune, which is amazing. And then I'm like, okay, maybe not the chain, but then I did the chain and it does make a difference. I love how it looks. And the rotors, I mean, it's not about braking power, it's more of a look thing. And I mean, these are pricey. I don't remember the price, but it was $350, I think, each rotor. I mean, they it adds up at the end, guys. So I'm thinking, okay, what would I remove? I definitely want these blacked out because I want the blacked out look. So it's like whenever I try to think how would I do it differently, honestly, I would just do it the same way I did it right now. If anything, now I want to add more parts. One thing I definitely want to do is I want to put a wider rear tire. I want to do a 180 from a 150 that this is. I just don't want to do it yet because these tires are also pricey. I thought they're gonna be low cost, but obviously they're not. I think it's like $350, $400 for a rear tire from Avon. I don't know why I thought all those prices are only for these types of bikes because the performance of those tires are much higher, but apparently no. I mean, $400 for a rear tire, which I'm not planning to do yet because I have a lot. This is literally brand new tire, so not yet, but I do want to make it a little wider. I don't know what you guys think, but I feel that this is a little bit too thin. Now 180 would be the max that I could go on this rim, because then if I want to go wider, we're going to a different world again, because then I have to do rims, of course. Now we're going to $3,000-$4,000 just for rims, not including tires. And if you do a wide rim at the front, you also have to do wide triple clamps to extend the distance of the forks, and you're looking for another $3,000. I mean, then before you know it, the bike is another $40,000, and I do not want to do that. I want this as a daily. I use it as a daily. So I believe the thought here is avoid all that. Avoid thousands of dollars on rims and forks and all that stuff, and leave it as is. Do a 180 rear and maybe put a little, some touches here and there, like the brass, screws here and there, a few things. One thing performance wise that I would like to do is lift it a little bit somehow from the rear shock arm there. There's one, I believe that you can lift it and maybe lift the pegs about an inch or so, because every time I take the turns I always scrape pegs, or I also scraped my side stand underneath here. So even if I raise the pegs, the side stand scrapes. I can't show you from here, but yeah. And again, I'm not saying that this bike is meant to take high angle turns, but I took it to the canyons and I missed that. I was not able to lean like I do with these bikes, so I wanted a little bit more lean angle on this one. So maybe this will be a mod that I will do later on. Guys, I will include links for all these parts either in the description or a comment, because sometimes the description has a limit on characters and I cannot include everything. So either way, I'm going to include all the links for these parts if you're interested in doing something similar. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.